Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle number 28, your bi-weekly dose of Turtle StarCraft. I'm of course your ZvP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to the tournament, to our Turtle Tussle here. This is a bi-weekly tournament open to all players, open to all shapes, all sizes, and of course a big shout out to Mark BT as well as Proto Stegosaurus for helping to fund, helping to sponsor the event. If you're in the chat, !B in the chat, you get a link to the bracket, you get a link to the overall Wikipedia and challenge. But we are jumping into our first series of the day. And this morning, in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Zerg player from the land of Belarus, representing his new team, Alien Esports. It is Nikich. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss from South Korea. It is ReBellioN. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Best of luck in the chat as we dive into our round of 16 match. Again, we'll go over the rest of the bracket after this. We are featuring some key players here. We have some heavy hitters like Bjorn, like Creator, like Jimmy, like Geralt. We'll get into it. We'll get into it after this series. For now, we're going to be opening up a hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of the side of Nikich. Likewise, ReBellioN going for standard start himself, going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Standard openers all around. ReBellioN just poking in, just going to be trying to be as annoying as possible, denying some mining time or forcing inefficient mining in the main base. Outside of that, we're settling in. We are settling in. Just catching up with the chat. So glad you're on tonight. Oh, every night, Pappy, every night. We got you. Again, we're typically live twice a day, every single day. One time here in the morning, another time in the afternoon. Typically, we have like a time slot for the more Americas region, which is now, and for a more European/Korean region, which is later on in the evening. Today's broadcast is, of course, a Turtle Tussle. Tonight's broadcast is the podcast, so we have that later on during a more European-friendly time. So twice a day, twice a day, every single day. Let's go. Otherwise, we're going to be settling in. So far, so good. We have our take of choice, Stargate opener out of ReBellioN. Again, ReBellioN, he usually does thrive in the mid game. He is one to open up Twilight Council, bear that in mind. So keep an eye on ReBellioN when it comes to his tech of choice throughout the course of this series. So far, standard opener. This should lead into a third base. It should lead into Oracle, into a third expansion, into the mid game with +1 and Blink Stalkers. But ReBellioN can be a little bit quirky at times. So we'll keep an eye on our Protoss player here to see if he does ever deviate from the norm. We'll see. We shall see. As of now, is going to be walling up. Not the most sturdy of walls, but a wall nonetheless. It's fine. A wall nonetheless. With that pylon, that does block up that hole. And speaking of deviating from the norm, there it is. It is not an Oracle opener. It is going to be a Void Ray instead. Okay, you have my attention. Void Ray is on the way, already rallied towards the initial Overlord. The goal here is to hunt down the Overlords, to deny vision, deny scouting, and to hide the follow-up tech. Now, as a reminder, this can still lead into a normal game. This can still lead into a normal standard game state. That is true. This can still lead into a third base, into +1 and Blink. Or we could hide some tech. We could go for an earlier Twilight Council into early Glaives. We can go into a fast Fleet Beacon into Tempest. We can go for a fast second Stargate into Mass Oracle, into Mass Void Ray. There are a couple of options here with what ReBellioN can achieve and what he can do. What's important is that Nikich is in the dark, and there's going to be this kind of shroud of ambiguity around ReBellioN and his build. And there it is! Fleet Beacon. Let's go. This is one of the many builds you can go for as we were actually listing them off. Fleet Beacon into Tempest, or you can go Fleet Beacon into Carrier Rush. Now, what's important right now, there's only one Stargate. If we don't get a second Stargate, let's go. We have a bit of a fake out. Okay. So what's happening here, shout out to the turtle, by the way, is that the plan is to reveal the initial units. This should be a Tempest, so it should be like 1, maybe 2 Tempests, and the goal here is to force an overreaction. To reveal the Tempest, to move it across the map. What does that do? That forces out gases, that forces out a Spire, and ideally forces out Corruptors. And while that's happening, bam, hard switch into Twilight Council, into Charge, into a Ground Army instead, and then the Zerg player dies. This was very trendy now 2 years ago. I was gonna say last year, but I want to say 2 years ago at this point. In 2023, all going to Glaives, not into Charge. Interesting. So the Charge follow-up was popularized by Classic. That was in GSL around November of 2023, like November, maybe October. Sort of era of StarCraft on the Alcyone map pool, if I recall correctly. So that was when that was popularized. This is a different variation going into Glaives instead of Charge. Regardless, the goal here is still to catch the Zerg player off guard. So Tempest is moving out, and again, intentionally so, the Tempest does want to reveal itself. So Tempest is going to be sent across the map. Back at home, we have Ling Roach amassing, so we do have a ground-based army. But again, the goal here with the Tempest is to force an overreaction. But this might actually trigger a counterattack. Based on the amount of Lings and Roaches we have, no lair, never mind, no lair, no Roach speed yet, so most likely it's going to be staying back at home. Tempest is revealed. We do chip away here at the bases. Queens are forced to respond. Tempest has to be careful, not to overextend. And there it is. There's a Spire. There's a Spire, and ideally, ReBellioN, he wants Nikich to bank up resources and get ready for Corruptors. Tempest does chip away at those Queens. Dipping into the main base. One-shotting drones. Ooh. Gets 2 workers. Gases are being taken, and as the gases are being taken, the Adepts, they have arrived, and they shade in towards that third base. Now, thankfully, we have Roaches. Thankfully, we had safety Roaches already morphed in. Adepts, they commit to the shade. And are there enough Roaches? I believe there are. Boys are being pulled. Yeah, boys are pulled for a moment. 5 workers go down, but these Adepts, they are going to be completely cleaned up. Yeah, they get shut down. They attempt to shade away. 4 Adepts do survive. So far, good response by Nikich. And what's he doing is making more Roaches. We have +1 range on the way, more Roach production underway as well. Yeah, Nikich, he doesn't overreact. He still has the Spire, don't get me wrong. And we can see ReBellioN switching into Blink Stalkers. He's switching to Blink. And again, Nikich thankfully already made these Roaches ahead of time. Now he's made even more, and now he's looking for those Adepts. And so far, Nikich, the pants were not down. Let's go. The pants were not down. We have a Mothership on the way as well to help support. That one Tempest stuck in between the bases. Stalkers are being active. This Stalker reveal as well confirms that Nikich, he needs to focus on that ground force. He's got 5 Corruptors on the way, but only 5 Corruptors. Like, at this point, he knows. At this point, Nikich, he realized what's going on. ReBellion's behind. That Adept attack had to do more damage, had to cripple the economy. It did not. And now here come the Roaches. They just waddle across the map. Probes are going down, and ReBellioN is in trouble. He's going for the all-in. He's going for the all-in. Does warp in across the map. Roaches are racing back home. And the base is going to fall. Nikich, he doesn't commit to the base trade. He could have. He could have kept going. Could have gone all the way. But last turns back around. Likewise, ReBellioN trying to warp in with little he has left. Going to be forced back. Nikich is somewhat supply blocked. Thankfully, he's breaking out. And ReBellioN, he does go back home. Does turn around, does race back home. Did save most of his workers. He's still in this game. He's still in this. Nikich, I'm not too convinced by his decision to race back home, but, you know, he's maintaining himself. He's taking up Hydra Den, Infestation Pit, into a Hive, into Roach Hydra. He's building up. The Stalkers, these Stalkers have a lot of potential. They have +1, they have Blink. So far, trading well. ReBellioN does trade well. You sound disappointed the pants stayed up. Always, Pappy, always. Oh, no. Not like this. He's wearing a belt. How dare he? As Roach Ravager does push in. So far, it's holding back the Stalkers. Yeah, forcing ReBellioN away. Headed for the third. Doesn't quite have enough to push in. Ooh. And so far, ReBellioN trading well with these Stalkers. Very nice blink control. Yeah, nice control. He does hold on. Outtrades the Roach Ravager. Again, the supply can be deceiving, as Roach Ravager is quite inflated here in that supply. Well, does inflate the supply. Behind this, joining up his 4th base, taking up. Hive is almost done. Building up towards Lurkers. Till then, these Stalkers can still trade well. Still trade well. He's breaking forward. Oh my god. Let's blink away. Behind this, he has opted not to take in any splash damage or take any additional... I mean, he has all of his gases. And ReBellioN, he could afford something like a Temple Archives or a Bay. But for now, continuing to mass Stalker, and he is gaining ground. Oh, Lurkers are on the way. Can he focus them down? The Lurkers! Oh, he can get one. Barely one. One Lurker does fall. The other three do morph in. ReBellioN had potential. At the same time, 10 drones do fall. And the Lurkers are out of position. Does get one more. There's 2 Lurkers left. Nikich, he's being overwhelmed. Yeah, he just cannot keep up. Not against this. Still piling in with more roaches. Blackers, miss rally. Oh no! Miss rally to ReBellioN. Stalkers go down for free. Stalkers get picked up. Those 2 Lurkers are still in position. No detection. ReBellioN has to retreat, but he does kill the expansion. And ReBellioN has a lead. At this point, the Lurker count is far too low. All it really needs is going to be that detection. Did we lose a mothership? Did that? No, I guess he just canceled. Okay. I was like, where did it go? Never got it. Ooh, there's Revelation. Who needs a rover? Who needs detection or who needs an observer? Ooh, when you have that Revelation. Blingsin takes on another Lurker. Takes another down. Trades against the roaches. Ooh, takes out another, and now there's one more. Oh my god, Revelation barely runs out. Whew. Barely ran out in time. Really being forced back. Likewise, Corruptors finding some uses. Headed towards that natural. They're gonna bring it down. Yeah, the causing spray is so good. It takes a couple of seconds and the base does fall. They just get the hell out of there. But at least they're able to find some more value. Oh. They were. As they're being hunted down. And this is going to preserve the mothership, as the mothership has arrived, has yet to be revealed. Nikich retaking another expansion, building up his lurker count. What was once 2 lurkers, now up to how many? Now up to 5. He's slowly building up his lurkers, rejoining, resaturating. It's still a very, very tense game state though. ReBellioN can still break this army. Lurker count is okay, but still not amazing. There we go. 4 more Lurkers in production. It's going to be 9 in total. And that would be enough. Oh. Lurkers, they are in time. They force back the Stalkers. So far is keeping up. Is keeping up. Likewise, slow zone on the main army. Expansion is going to be going down. Barely not. Barely does save it. Mothership taking a lot of hits, and the mothership should finally fall. Stalkers are holding their own, but Lurkers, they move in. And there's no good into these Lurkers. Not anymore. There's too many. There's 9. 9 Lurkers, they force back the Protoss. Rather than he cannot push up this ramp. Oh my god. He can't push up. That's not going to happen. And this would typically force out a higher tech army, whether it's Skytoss, whether it's Archon Immortal, but we see only Blink Stalker. Only Blink Stalker. ReBellioN is being outscaled. This army is losing its effectiveness. Oh. Still a very mobile composition though. Lurkers trying to keep up. Whereas Oracle is going to be going down, so does the base. Base does fall. Lurkers the last day counterattack. There's a recall. Recall over, more Lurkers have arrived. Oh yeah, the Stalkers, they cannot hold their own against this. There's first Revelation. But there's still another Lurker behind us. The Oracle goes down. Oracle falls, reinforcements on the way. Fortune's way in. Oh, some of the Lurkers are exposed. There's 1, 2, 3 Lurkers, but last GG gets called. A Mass Blink Stalker is not going to work against this. And Nikich, he will survive. He will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Nikich does take a lead in the series. A very, very intense game. Again, shout out to ReBellioN for the build of choice, going initially Tempest into a hard switch into a gateway-based army. But as we did mention, the switch into Glaive Adepts did not do well enough. Remember, he killed 5 drones. He killed 5 drones for 12 plus adepts. It just was not worth it. He needed more value, he needed more damage. Alas, he did not get what he needed. Thankfully, Nikich did make a bunch of safety roaches. You could argue that was inefficient. I would agree. I would say, yeah, it's a little bit inefficient to make all these roaches this early on without really knowing what's happening, but it worked out. Did work out, did pay off in the end, and it was able to deflect and survive against the initial adepts and take a lead from there. GG. GG, well played. Whew. With that, Nikich takes the lead, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Usually disappointed when pants stay up as well. Oh no. Oh no. Not like this. As we're getting into that second game, and we'll see if Nikich can close this out. We'll see if ReBellioN can bounce back. As we are jumping into our next game. Oh, as we do a big shout to Turbo, big shout to Turbo Quacker in the chat. Thank you so much for the gifted sub to the community. Thank you, gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it as always. Turbo Quacker has been around for a very, very long time, since I want to say 2020. I want to say around 2020 is when Turbo Quacker first started watching us. So thank you so much for all the support. We always do appreciate it. As always, quack, papi, quack. As we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our red Zerg player, red Zerg from the land of Belarus, representing Alien Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is Nikich. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss from South Korea, down in the series. We'll see him bounce back. It is ReBellioN. You can see, following since May 17th of 2020. Boomer back. Oh no. I mean, 2020 isn't that long ago. Looks at the calendar. It's been 5 years. Crazy. I mean, I know a lot of people watching nowadays are a little bit newer to the stream, a little bit newer to the channel, but that's also why I appreciate seeing some of the old school veterans like Turbo Quacker. Do appreciate it. Always. We're all old here. 2020 was last year, right? Oh no. Oh no. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Smooch. We just got out of lockdown, right? We just right? Copium. We're all getting old. As for now, we're getting into game two. And again, my eyes are going to be on ReBellioN coming into this. As we saw, as we were somewhat validated last game, ReBellioN, he is one to have some cheeky builds. He's not always one to play normal, play standard. He does like to mix it up. Not saying that he's going to go Tempest once again, but he could. Likewise, he can go for an earlier Twilight Council into earlier Glaives. Like, there are different avenues of builds that ReBellioN can go for. It's going to be up to Nikich to play as safely as possible. We can see here Stargate Opener once again. We'll see if, I mean, personally, I do really enjoy it when Protoss players, when they open Void Ray multiple times in a series and then they change their build in the aftermath, right? They make it look like the same build that they just went for and they hide something different. So we'll see if we see a Void Ray for a second time, or if we open up Oracle once again. So we do have our Stargate finishing, Nikich getting his third base, just Hatch Gas Pool into a third. Welcome one also Ultra Love. Ultra Love is one of the smaller maps of the map pool, short rushes and spike rounds. We could see aggression on this map, and there it is, no Void Ray. We're going to be opening up Oracle for the first time this series. Let's go. Here we go. So now we are going to be setting up. Going to be setting up back at home, saturating our bases. Oracle has arrived. And from here, interesting, Oracle into Void Ray. Okay. Is going to be a Void Ray follow-up. Towards that natural. I'm gonna bring it down. Oh! Gets one, gets two, not bad. Gets two drone kills, pulls away. Void Ray again, once again, is gonna be focusing down that Overlord, denying vision, denying scouting. And we'll see where ReBellioN goes from here. Does he once again hide a Twilight Counter into Glaze? Do we go to charge? Third base is being taken. Do we just play standard? Possible. There we go. Thanks, Screw. Thanks, like that. Thank you, Turbo. Thank you. It's a bright and sunny world after lockdowns. Life is good and stuff, right? I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't go. I just cast. It's. Oh no. Think I had the luxury of going outside? No, no. We cast all day, every day here. Aye, aye, aye. Oh, the StarCraft. It's the same. So now ReBellioN does pull away. Likewise, going to plus on a blink. This is a more standard follow-up here. Everything's looking normal, saturating his third base, and getting into his own blink stalker follow-up. So far, this time, standard game. Standard game here at ReBellioN. Of course, Nikich doesn't know that, and the Void Ray, I'm sure, does give a little bit of uncertainty here to Nikich when it comes to what exactly the Protoss is up to. Lings, they threaten a dive. But so far, ReBellioN, he is holding. Is keeping up. Nice Sim City, does wall off. Azulin, yo, for a second, let's go. Thank you so much, Turbo Quacker, once again. For another gifted sub to the community. Thank you, thank you. Do appreciate it. To Kratos this time. Oh, I didn't give a shout out earlier. To Kratos and earlier to... Oh. To Remasticus. Gracias, gracias. Border going to be so back. Oracle Stasis goes off, catches out 2 drones, and we do have a Spire. This time, though, this is not a reaction to Tempest, it's not Corruptor. This is a Spire into Mutas. Okay, Nikich, you got my attention. Plus on melee also indicates that we don't really intend to commit into Roaches, that instead it's going to be mass Muta into Link support, not only harassing Mutas into Roaches, but a bigger commitment into the Muta. Let's go. Is committing in. Oh, I'm making the assumption though, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Nikich. Back at home, ReBellioN knocking down those towers, walling up, walling off, getting to Immortals, getting into his own Temple Archives. What time zone are you in? I'm in Australia. Let's go. The land of Oz. Oh. Stalkers, they get surrounded, not bad. Yeah, Stalkers, they get shut down. Alas, Oracle not quite able to support. ReBellioN going to be forced back. So far, Nikich, he's holding on. He's keeping the Protoss at bay. And behind this, the Spire is now complete. Show us those Mutas. And there it is, 8 Mutas already in production. +1 air attack. Did I say 8? Going up to 10. 10 Mutas on the way. Lings against round, they take down one of the High Templar. Take down a High Templar. ReBellioN building up. Getting up to 12 Mutas now. And again, ReBellioN, he has no idea. He has no idea. Now, thankfully, he does have some Blink Stalkers, so he has a way to try to respond and deal with this. Likewise, he can also morph in Archons. He has Storm. There is anti-air, don't get me wrong, but the reality is the main base is exposed. There's no cannons, no shield batteries in the main. Likewise, no stack defense here at the natural. Likewise, there are cannons here at the third base, but by happenstance, more than anything, the main and the natural are very exposed. There's potential for damage. Speaking of, Mutas are on the way. We go. As soon as they dive into the main base, get into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down. So far, good damage. This is getting out of hand. Getting to 9, 10, 11 probe kills. Oh my god. The entire mineral line is going to fall. A last late reaction here from ReBellioN. And it's a ground-based army. Strongly keep up. And we just dance between the bases. We just dance between them. Hop back and forth. 21 probe kills. This is getting out of hand. This is just too much. And ReBellioN, I mean, he's going to have to counterattack, but can he? Now, what I appreciate out of Nikich is that he did make 12 Mutas. Behind this, we're not making any more. Lurker switch. Going for a Lurker switch instead. Going for a Lurker transition. This is a good way to get ahead economically, and then to tech up and tech switch into something even greater, into Lurkers. Now, Nikich still needs more time. The Hive is still not done. Lurker Den is still not done. So time is required to really build them up. Likewise, the Roach on the right-hand side runs into a wall of cannons. Muta's back into the main. There's no probes left to kill, unfortunately, but he can camp the production. Takes down the Phoenix, takes down the Void Rave. Nikich pulls away. Rotating in towards that third. Some of the full workers. Takes down a High Templar. And enough time has passed. You see what I see? I see 12 lurkers. the lunkers, they're coming. They're on the way. Lunkers are morphing in. Now, these are going to be lair tech lurkers. Hive upgrades have really just now begun, so they're not the most ideal lurkers. This base is going to fall, but these lurkers should be enough to hold the line, to hold the ramp, and to defend the bases. Does move in. We'll take a save to the face. Storm's going up. High Templar are exposed. Yeah, and already 2 High Templar going down. Brutal spine shots. Muta's trying to camp the production. They're going to be thrown away. But the army's locked down. We need to oh no! He has to recall out of here. He pushes in. It's not going to be a pretty trade. He does break through the lurker line though. Not bad. He's breaking in. Nikich up against the wall, massing a Morling Hydra. Muta's they dive on that prism. The prism barely goes down. And the base is going to be forfeit. Ultra's falling. Here come the reinforcements. Again, they're lacking upgrades, no Hydra speed. But with reinforcements, this should be enough. There's no storm. Templar needs more time. He needs more time. He needs more energy. Last Nikich fights back. Does hold, does fight back. Throws down a wall of spine crawlers. Behind this, ReBellioN is on 48 workers, barely an economy. Barely an economy at this point. Nikich taking a storm to the face. ReBellioN, he's trying to force his way in. Ooh, the Hydras are exposed. High Templar go down. Better trade for ReBellioN. He's breaking through. No shot. He's doing it. He's breaking through. He's getting some of that final lurker. Oh no! The Observer went down. Observer barely went down. Lurker survives, but the base goes down. The base does fall. And Nikich, he's barely holding on. He has 1 lurker to hold on to. Observer's being rebuilt. And ReBellioN, he's been all in for quite some time. Again, he barely has an economy. But he's trading well. Is trading well. Nikich moving in 5 more lurkers. 5 more on the way. That's really pushing in. Oh. That's 1 queen. The lurker count is slowly building up. Yo, we got the 1 Tempest on the way. Let's go. Naked Tempest, morphing in more Head Templar. ReBellioN, he's reprobing. He's resaturating. He's still in this game. Now, given the armies we're working with, I do favor Nikich now that the lurker upgrades are finishing. He has both. He has both lurker upgrades. He has Hydra speed, so he can reinforce. And as the lurker count builds up, I do favor him for the time being. That is only until the Tempest count builds up, though. Like, right now, there's 1 Tempest. If we can get into proper Sky Toss, if ReBellioN can establish another base and max out, then that's a different story. Oh my god, the Prism barely survives. ReBellioN rotates towards the left-hand side. Claims another expansion. At the same time, Ling Rama gets in. Oh, the wall is wide open. The wall was not a wall. It does force a recall. Can we get the expansion? It's gonna be close. And he can. Yeah, Nexus goes down. Nice pickup. Nexus does fall. ReBellioN pulling away. Want to play some KS2? Oh, este Starduck. Ay, ay, ay. Este Starduck. Nikich swaddling in between the bases. And we'll break through. Takes down the gateways, takes down the cyber core. Oh. And Nikich, I mean, ReBellion's completely out of position. He's zoned out. He's zoned away. ReBellioN, he was not ready for this. And do we come into a base trade? Do we try to break through? I mean, the Tempest, they can't chip away this army for free. But it's going to take so long. It's only 2 Tempests. Only 2 Tempests here. Massive storms on the Hydras. The ground army cannot move out. No, we can't move in. Not like this. And he's going to lose all the High Templar. High Templar, they go down one after the other. GG gets called. He will lose the entire army. And Nikich, he will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Nikich. He will claim the series, will advance on, and with that, ReBellioN is out of the tournament. And now it's time to catch up on the bracket itself, to catch up on whether or not Nikich has an opponent already. Let's find out. Exclamation mark B. Exclamation mark B in the chat. Again, shout out to ReBellioN. He had some quirky builds here, especially in game 1. Here in game 2, less so. We saw, you know, Stargate Opener into Blink Stalker, into a more standard follow-up. This is where Nikich could thrive a little bit more. Despite that, still very, very close between the two players. Could have gone either way. Lurkers were going down. Stalkers were going down. The Mutas, they wreaked havoc. I assume the Mutas would just end the game, but he was still in there. He still hung in there in the end. GG, well played. And with that, we're catching up on the bracket. Oh, or are we?